She had everything: a beautiful home, a family she adored, and the comfort of knowing that if disaster ever struck, she was protected. That's what she believed her insurance was for. That monthly payment she never missed wasn't just money out of her account. It was peace of mind. But when the unthinkable happened and she needed help the most, the very company she trusted turned its back on her. And in the end, she lost everything. This is the story of how one woman's life unraveled, not because of the tragedy itself, but because of the silent betrayal that followed. And before you think this couldn't happen to you, stay with me until the end, because the chilling truth is, it could. It all began on a quiet evening. Sarah, let's call her that, though her story could belong to countless others, was at home with her 2 kids. The house was filled with laughter, the smell of dinner in the air, and the kind of warmth that makes you believe nothing bad could ever happen. But just after midnight, she woke up to the unmistakable crackle of fire. Smoke filled the hallway. Flames were spreading through the kitchen, devouring everything in their path. She grabbed her children, racing down the stairs as the fire roared behind them. They barely made it outside before the house was engulfed. Within minutes, the home that held every memory, baby photos, family heirlooms, her father's old watch, was gone. Reduced to ashes under the dark night sky. It was a nightmare, but Sarah tried to take comfort in one thing. She was insured. She had paid for years, carefully, responsibly. This was why insurance existed: to rebuild, to recover, to provide hope when life was shattered. The next morning, she called her insurance company, tears in her eyes, expecting compassion, support, and swift help. What she got instead was the beginning of another kind of fire, one colder, crueler, and far more devastating. At first, the representatives spoke with sympathy. They reassured her everything would be okay, that her policy covered fire damage. But then came the delays. Endless requests for documents, forms that seemed designed to confuse. Weeks stretched into months. Every time she called, she was transferred, redirected, told her claim was under review. And then, the letter arrived. A neatly typed rejection. The company was denying her claim. The reason? A technicality. According to them, a detail in her policy meant her coverage didn't apply. It didn't matter that she had paid faithfully every single month. It didn't matter that her house was gone, her children traumatized, her life reduced to rubble. With a few sentences, the company she had trusted erased her future. Sarah was left with nothing: no home, no savings, and no one to turn to. She fought back, hired lawyers, pleaded her case, begged for compassion. But the insurance giant had endless resources. She was just one person. And slowly, she realized the terrible truth. The system was never built to protect her. It was built to protect them. Her story isn't unique. Across the world, thousands of families face the same cold betrayal. Insurance companies promise security, but behind closed doors, they employ armies of lawyers and adjusters whose sole job is to find ways not to pay. They look for loopholes, technical errors, and fine print that most people never even knew existed. And when disaster strikes, instead of a helping hand, many families find a locked door. Think about it. We pay insurance because we're told it's safety. Car insurance, home insurance, health insurance, life insurance. They market it as love, as protection for your family, as a shield against life's chaos. But how many people actually get the payout they deserve without a fight? How many spend months, even years, battling corporations that care more about profits than people's lives? Sarah's life spiraled. With no home, she moved into a cheap motel. Her kids slept on pull-out beds, asking when they could go back to their house. She worked extra shifts trying to save, but every paycheck disappeared into temporary rent and legal fees. Friends tried to help, but she could see the pity in their eyes. She had once been strong, stable, secure. Now she was someone they whispered about. Someone who had lost everything. The cruelest part? She had done everything right. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't careless. She followed the rules, paid what she owed, trusted the system. But the system wasn't built for her. It was built for shareholders, for executives with million-dollar bonuses, for companies that profit more every time they deny a claim. The statistics are shocking. Studies show that billions of dollars in valid insurance claims are denied every single year. Families fighting cancer, homeowners recovering from natural disasters, car accident victims left in financial ruin, all because some adjuster somewhere clicked deny. And here's the twisted reality. Many companies count on it. They know most people won't have the money or strength to fight back. They know delay and confusion work in their favor. Every denial is profit in their pockets. But behind those numbers are real lives. Real people like Sarah, whose children cried themselves to sleep in a motel room while she stared at the ceiling, wondering how everything had gone so wrong. She wasn't just battling loss, she was battling betrayal. Because when we lose faith in a company, we get angry. But when we lose faith in something we thought was there to protect us, the wound cuts deeper. It feels personal. It feels like the ground beneath us has disappeared. Sarah's story eventually made headlines. Reporters picked it up, outrage spread, and for a brief moment her case shone a light on the dark practices of insurance giants. But for every story that makes the news, there are thousands that don't. Thousands of people quietly suffering, quietly losing, quietly being erased by systems designed to bury their pain. So here's the haunting question. If this happened to her, what's stopping it from happening to you? Think about the policies you've signed, the fine print you never read, the trust you've placed in companies whose only real loyalty is to profit. What would happen if disaster struck tomorrow? Would they be there for you? Or would you find yourself standing in the ashes, clutching a rejection letter, realizing you've been left alone? Sarah never got her home back. Eventually, she rebuilt her life in small steps, but the scars remain. Not just the memory of the fire, but the memory of betrayal. She says the hardest part wasn't losing the house. It was realizing the safety net she had counted on was nothing but smoke and mirrors. That realization shattered her more than the flames ever did. Her story is a warning, a reminder that behind the glossy ads and the comforting slogans, there's a machine that doesn't see us as people, only as numbers. And when those numbers don't add up in their favor, they'll cut us loose without hesitation. So the next time you see an insurance commercial promising love, family, and protection, remember Sarah. Remember that sometimes the greatest danger isn't the fire, the flood, or the accident. Sometimes the greatest danger is the promise that's never kept.